Exactly. My name is Jameson Birds-Scoundrels.
And
call me Mr. BS.
Oh my god. Good night, everyone. Hello, and welcome to episode 165 of Rhythm Encounter, the RPG fan music podcast. I am your host, Mike Salbato, and we are here to talk about a very fun topic. But first, I'm going to introduce my panel of, do we want to be cow people? Cowboys, cowgirls, cowfolk?
Cowfolk.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
All right, I like it. All right, so first up, we have Audra.
Howdy.
Howdy to you. And Matt is here.
There's gold up in them hills. Podcast gold.
And Wes.
Hi, everybody. Mine's just my normal one. I'm not much of a cowpoke.
I feel like I should explain just a second to anyone listening. None of that was planned. I put all of you on the spot to see what would happen, and you didn't disappoint, so thank you. I'm not making anyone pick like Wild West names or anything, although if I had thought about it an hour ago, I would have.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
So yes, if you couldn't tell from the title and what we're doing here with this intro is we are going to be talking about the Wild Arms series today. A beloved series that has sadly not seen an entry in a long time. But, boy, does it have a lot of good music to talk about.
Also a phenomenal way to advertise a used car dealership. It'll get there.
Oh,
get there.
That took a second. All right. What's going to happen if I make that a photo of one of those the graphic for this episode? Is that going to help or hurt engagement?
I would die laughing.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, anyway, so yes, we're going to be talking about Wild Arms, one of those, everyone's favorite Wild West JRPG series, whose incredible subtitles, by the way, never survived localization, and I don't know why. I don't know why Sony decided back in the day that Second Ignition was not the move, and we just got Wild Arms 2. Really nothing to do with the music, but going through all this stuff again, I was reminded that they all have these cool and sometimes weird subtitles, and we didn't get those.
It does make it sound like a remake a little bit. Second Ignition. But
Second Ignition is so fire.
It is an amazing title, yeah.
It is really neat.
Yeah. So we are going to jump into Wild Arms music, but first, as we always do, what is everyone listening to lately? Let's start with Wes.
It's a twofold obsession. When my kids are around, it's basically been the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack on loop, nonstop. I know them all from memory by this point. I'm still working on the high notes on Golden. When I'm by myself, I'm on a big Gundam kick lately. So I've been listening to dang near every intro, ending, interstitial music from the entire series in a big old playlist all the time.
Moe Agare. That one?
Exactly. Alongside the Andrew WK version, which if no one knows that exists, surprise, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh my god, okay.
Sounds like I should ask you for a link and share it in our notes.
Yeah, please.
Just going to go ahead and drop that here.
Yeah, all right, thank you. How about you, Matt? What are you listening to?
I think by the time this episode comes out, Patrick's Final Fantasy Piano Collections article will be published. So proofing that and, working on that with him, I've been listening to a lot of the piano collections from Square Enix and kind of reappreciating how great they are, some of them. Number 8 especially, Final Fantasy 8 is a real
piano.
Standout.
Yeah.
Incredible.
8 soundtrack in general is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, I think Patrick called it his favorite, a vanilla soundtrack, and I'm like, yeah, it's hard to deny. It's pretty incredible and unique.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Audra?
Right now, whenever I hit shuffle on my playlist, it somehow goes to a Ruby soundtrack song, so I guess Ruby.
Absolutely aces.
Yes.
Oh
They are
dear, does that
they have
take me
some
into
very
a,
good songs.
a happy place?
Oh. That's the like machinima anime thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a CG animation from it was by Rooster Teeth, and now it's in limbo with Viz. So
Yeah, it looked incredible. Like I got to give that a listen then.
yeah, the soundtrack is awesome. The soundtracks.
How many are there at this point? Do you know?
9.
9.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
9 volumes, so.
Isn't that spelled like RWBY, like Rawubi? That one?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta look that up.
The little music videos that came out prior are what made me watch any of it in the first place, because they are so outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Maniom was a genius with animation.
100%.
What have you been listening to, Mike?
Well, one of the answers I think I said on the last episode, because I'm still on and off listening to Claire Obscure, because why wouldn't I be? But my newest album discovery in the last week or so was a cool one I came across on Bandcamp. There's this artist I like that goes by Chewy, although the full artist name is Tune In with Chewy. That's usually what's on their albums. But they just released this one, I don't have the date, but really recently. Zelda's Midwest Emo Mixtape. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it is such delight. Someone on the Bandcamp page described it as Zelda music, but if Zelda music sounded like the Outer Wilds soundtrack, which if you know both of those things, that'll make a lot of sense to you. But it's really fun, so I definitely recommend that one.
And it's also pulled up on Spotify right now for me.
It's great, yeah. Since you shared it, I've actually been listening to it a lot, and like it's led to me listening to other like emo bands from like, you know, way back when, not way back when, but you know, like bands like Modern Baseball or bands like that. Yeah, that's a great album.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I've listened to like there's one of Chewy's other albums was Samus and Chill, which, oh my god, how was that 5 years ago or 4 years ago? Anyway, Samus and Chill, also great, but Zelda one is the newest one, and it is a delight. So, okay, I'm trying to look at my notes, but I made the mistake of looking over to my left, and I'm seeing an animated GIF of a flailing tube man in our podcast discussion. And now I'm distracted.
This is relevant to Wild Arms. Thank you very much.
I will never not make that connection now. I never had before 5 minutes ago, and now it's going to be in my head forever.
I like to think I've ruined the thought process of at least half of the listeners.
Or improved. Okay, I'm so glad I can minimize GIFs. Anyway, Wild Arms. So we don't always do this, but this seems like a good topic to do it on. But what's everyone's like familiarity with Wild Arms? Like, when did you start playing? What's some of your favorites? I will go first because mine is going to be the shortest list, is that I know the music more than the games. I have played part of Wild Arms and part of Alter Code F's, so I keep starting the first game, and that's about it. But I do like what I've played. I've seen a lot of the first one. My brother really loved it growing up, so like I don't feel like I'm as out of the loop because I've seen so much of that one at least. So that's my experience.
So I have a lot of family in Puerto Rico. It's where my mom was raised. And one summer I went down there, and the PlayStation had come out somewhat recently, and one of my cousins had gotten it, and he brought it over for all of us visiting to play. And we were looking at the games, and I saw this one with a very anime style cover, even though anime, what it was still slightly vague for me at the time. And I was so like awestruck by this. I was like, I want to play that one. He's like, oh, you're not going to like that one. It's weird. You're not. Eventually, after they all wandered off, I snuck in, turned it on. By the intro, I was hooked. That intro song in the first game was like, well, I'm going to be playing this series forever from now on. And lo and behold, I did. At launch, every new Wild Arms, I was there for it. Absolutely adore the series, and the soundtrack is a not insignificant part of that.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, like that intro, you guys had an episode. I think all three of you were on like the Rhythm Encounter that covered Shadow Hearts and Wild Arms. and
yes.
that was one of the songs from it. And like, yeah, that's such a great intro. I also don't have that much experience with the Wild Arms series. Like, I only started playing it right when I joined RPG Fan at the beginning of the year. My debut was like a Wild Arms 1 retro review. And, you know, the trilogy, like 1, 2, and 3 are on like PSN and PS Plus. And I've only just dipped my feet into them now. And yeah, one, like, parts of it are very dated and they don't hold up very well. I gotta try like the remake, the PSP remake that you mentioned, Alt F or whatever. But the music is like still incredible. It's by far, like, I think, the best part of that series. So I gave it a relatively like a middling score, and yet in my heart, like it's higher than what I gave it. Like it's very charming, and just I really enjoyed it, and I think about it often still. So right now I'm playing Wild Arms 2, and I'm hoping to write about it for the site. And I think it's a huge improvement over 1, and like the music too is like just as, if not more, incredible. And yeah, like Mike, I started listening to Wild Arms like years, like decades before I ever played it. Like on YouTube, I'm like, what's this, like, you know, cowboy game? And like, this town theme is incredible. Like, what the? So yeah, that's my experience with that. Learning more.
Well, my experience, I started with Wild Arms 2. It was actually my third ever RPG that I played. And I became hooked on it pretty instantly and have been playing the games ever since. Although I haven't played the original Wild Arms one, I just played Alter Code F. But, I mean, I've played like 4, 5, 3, and Crossfire, XF. I love them. I'm sad that they don't make them anymore. But they're just really fun games with, I mean, the soundtracks are amazing.
Yeah. What were the other 2 games? You can't just leave us hanging like that, Audra.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII and Suikoden 2.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you just started like at the height of heights. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed that you can think back and remember your third ever. Like,
Yeah.
I think most of us can figure out our first one and maybe the second, but how far can you go down that list?
Probably just the top 3.
Okay.
And then I'd be like, well, I played this one around this time.
The 12th RPG I ever played was...
Yeah. I can remember like putting my fist in my mouth when I was a kid. That's about it, you know. I don't remember anything that I played or the order I played them in, but that's cool.
I can remember my first 4 because it goes Dragon Warrior 1, Dragon Warrior 2, Dragon Warrior...
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, that's pretty good, yeah. That makes it easy.
I've got a nice linear path.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about our history and emo music and flailing tube men, let's actually talk about our songs today. We are starting off with you, Wes.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it's my time. We are going to first take a quick little listen to A Person's Warmth from Wild Arms 3.
All right. And then, Matt, you are up to that.
Yeah, and after A Person's Warmth, we have The Shaman Princess's Feelings from Wild Arms 1.
All right, let's go listen.
There's a snake in my boots. So that was my intro. Enjoy. Wild Arms 3 has one of my favorite soundtracks of the whole series, and a lot of that's just because this was when we came to PS2. PS2 is really like this soft nostalgic point for me that I absolutely adore. You know, it's not where I started gaming, but it's where I started having enough money to buy my own games, so all of the weird RPGs came through. It also speaks to, I think, the two instruments that make me think about Wild Arms the most, which are any kind of whistle, whether it's flute, panpipes, actual human whistling, and acoustic guitar, which I think is key to any really Western Wild Arms sounding music. And like most of the tracks on this list, this was done by Michiko Naruke, who, I mean, this is like a love letter to them. This one hits me really, really well because the town themes are always something that are like not necessarily the most exciting things, you know, on the soundtrack, because there are so many like high energy like battle themes and intro themes and something like that and stuff like that. But this town theme especially just feels like such a time and place. It feels like that kind of down home, comforting, joyous, but in a calm and prosperous kind of way town theme that really gives you a sense of place and really feels like not just a Western, but like that anime Western twinge to it. That makes it feel like not only is this, you know, a town that really has those vibes, you're expecting to find the saloon, the stables, all that stuff, but also it has just a little bit of like that extra high emotion that comes with anything that is Japanese media inspired, where melodrama is kind of the order of the day. So it always hits just a little bit harder than a more passive soundtrack. They use the whistle just sparingly enough. You every once in a while get things like, you know, the triangle hitting in feels very down home country boy kind of touches in there. I think it's an absolutely beautiful town theme. I love most of the town themes in this series, but I think this one is my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got like a real, like, a lot of the Wild Arms 3 stuff has a real density to it. Like, it's kind of piling on the layers that they individually had in Wild Arms 1 and 2. And it just coalesces, like, so beautifully. Like, all the instruments that you mentioned, the whistling is in there, like the drums and everything like that. But I can't be the only one that when I hear the opening, like, melody there, I think of Dust in the Wind. Close my
absolutely.
eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone.
Oh, I can hear it. Yeah.
God,
right?
That hits.
It's like my brain just auto completes that line, right? But yeah, this is a really, I like you said, I love. I mean, you said the town themes were all right. I really love the town themes. I'm just a town theme guy in general over a battle theme. It just makes for everyday listening for me. And the Wild Arms series town themes are just so relaxed, and like they have like a little saunter to them, you know what I mean? Like we'll see in like later tracks especially, but you can imagine like walking with a wide-legged stance, or like a horse like trotting through a dusty village, you know what I mean? Yeah, the atmosphere is there for sure.
You know what's interesting about your point about, you know, Dust in the Wind here, that's not uncommon in the Wild Arms series to definitely take very large motifs from classic country or Western inspired or even Western movie soundtracks. So that little lead-in, something tells me that's not unintentional as well.
Yeah, let's add to the list of like things like Robo's theme and, you know, like Ken's theme from Street Fighter. Like, I'm just gonna take a little inspiration here, maybe a hefty dose.
Just a little bit.
Nice. I don't think I got quite as insightful as all of that, but I do love a song like this. I almost think it starts off very, very simple. You know, you have like the wind instrument, like that's what you hear the most. That's really the prevailing thing through the whole song. That's what drives the song. But like the percussion, the other instruments that come in, like really, really bring it to life, but don't like interrupt that flow. It's still peaceful and warm. Like I think what I got from it the most is like a nice sense of like warmth, which is like you, Matt, like one of the reasons I am often drawn to town themes as well. Without repeating what you said, Wes, like it's that warmth and like that hometowny like comfort feeling. I think it captures it really well.
I was gonna say, like, it has a very like soft and comforting feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is what a town theme should have, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
like the wilds are scary. Like, don't make me go back out there. There's random encounters, but you can feel comfortable in the town. And like Wild Arms 1, you kind of get kicked out of your town. Like as Rudy, you get kicked out, like, and publicly shamed and like hounded after. But Wild Arms 2, like you consistently return to the hometown, and it plays like a big role. It's like your emotional anchor. So I feel like a lot of the towns in Wild Arms, they're like sparse, but like that gives them more meaning. Like they are like oases in the desert.
They're like flowers in the wasteland.
That is beautiful. I agree, though. Yeah. Can love bloom on a battlefield?
Wrong series. We'll come back.
Oh, sorry.
I think
Should I
think that's your
talk about-
cue. Yeah, we're talking about like warmth and comfort, and that's also present in your track.
Yeah, it's like I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when I think of my choice, the Shaman Princess's Feelings, which has various translations from Japanese, but it's like Cecilia's theme basically. It does give me this feeling of warmth. Like that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I know it's like completely unrelated, but when I listen to that song and like the trumpets and like the kind of triumphant joy of it, it's childlike, not childish. It's got the positive kind of connotation to it. I can't help but think of the ending of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I don't like something about that, like the joy of like you did it, Charlie, you did it, and like the glass elevator shoots through the roof and it flies over the little German town. It the logistic adult side of me is like oh man, like some Oompa Loompa's gonna have to clean that shit up. But like as a kid, you know what I mean? Like as a kid, it's like yeah, like that's beautiful. Like it's a happy ending, and like who cares what happens next? Like let's just enjoy this moment. Which, if I can spoil briefly, like a bit of the ending of Wild Arms 1, this is Cecilia's coming to realization that she, even though she's a princess, like she's also a kid. She's a human, and she says in her letter to Rudy and Jack, like, I've decided to be a person. I've decided to follow my heart. Which, a lot of stories tell us, like a lot of coming of age stories tell us, it's time to like, leave the nest and give up your childishness. But like, I love how pure this song is, and that ending is just like the Willy Wonka ending of like, let's be a kid for a little moment longer. Like don't worry about the big stuff. Like let's just enjoy this moment. And Cecilia leaves her role as princess to like another advisor and runs off into the wilderness to chase after Rudy and Jack. And it's just a really beautiful ending. I feel like, yeah, it fills me with warmth. I can't listen to the first like 10 seconds of this song without getting emotional. But what'd you guys think?
I am so glad that is the context, having not seen the ending of the first game myself, because everything I wrote in my notes, interestingly, backs that up. Because I put these together on the episode because they have, like I said, a similar sense of like warmth and friendliness. I don't know. But like this one in particular, it gives me like these feelings of like togetherness and friendship in a different way than the other one. And I wrote down that like it doesn't seem as happy. Not that it's unhappy, but it's like there's a tone to it, or some notes or something in there that it seems like there's a sense of like peace and contentment, and something I couldn't really pinpoint exactly what it was, but there was some aspect
Regal,
of it.
Maybe?
No, like there was some aspect of it that maybe gave me a slight sense of longing, but not in like a negative way. Usually when you say longing, it's like has a more negative connotation, but literally like a like thinking back on like fond memories and cherished memories, that kind of thing. So that I wrote all that down, and then you just set that scene. I'm like, oh, I guess that was spot on then, because that's exactly what I got, and that feels like it fits, her letter and all that. So, yeah, I mean, great pick then.
That's a sign of a good composer, right? With Naruke.
Yeah,
It's a perfect character theme, I think. Fits her wonderfully, and I kind of get what you mean about like the longing, but it's not really a bad thing. It's more like just maybe wishing that things could keep going.
Yeah.
And she's maybe, because she's going after them and stuff, she's actually making that happen for a little while longer.
Yeah, because nobody wants to say, like, one of the for me the saddest part of any JRPG ending is like the adventure's over, everyone goes their separate ways. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which is also like an anime trope, and like I love just like it appeals to the child side of me that's like, no, like it doesn't have to be over. You know, like
Yeah.
why does it have to be over? So I like that they opt for that instead.
One of the things that stands out to me most, like re-listening to this out of context now, is how much it speaks to the kind of unique setting of the first Wild Arms game in particular, where your three kind of Western style heroes are all coming from kind of different places. Where Rudy's got kind of this traditional, Western, outcast from his village, having to wander the deserts. Jack is coming from more of like a treasure hunter, Indiana Jones, like, dashing professor, collector, thief, what have you, archetype. But Cecilia is unique because she's coming from, a castle life, a much more like medieval European kind of a world. And the instrumentation used here, like all of the instrumentation in these games, because Naruke is amazing, really speaks to that by giving it more of that castle theme, but that little bit, I like the term longing. I think we're all just going to stick with that a little bit. That feels like a very core Western value. The especially in a lot of Westerns where you've kind of got the lone gunslinger or the Western hero that wanders into town, and the sadness as they leave that town different than they left it. There always seems to be at least a few people there who like wish they could go with them. There's that tonally, it really fits in with the Western aesthetic, the Western themes that come up regularly, dating back to Seven Samurai, the OG Western, arguably. So it kind of unites the themes there and makes it feel like it belongs in that game. But distinctly, the instrumentation, swelling brass, strings, the percussion not being, a drum set or shakers like we use so much throughout the rest of the series, but big cymbal hits and big timpani hits, the kinds of things you would find in an orchestra. I think it's really fascinating from that lens as well, just that this is giving you a sense of place where she comes from, even though she too is a member of this Western world. She goes out into this wasteland kind of world with the rest of them. I don't know, that's something that always strikes me really well, is when you use instrumentation as a sense of place in these tracks.
Yeah, for sure.
And I found, like, doing research for like this track and like the other tracks, like Michiko Naruke's track titles that she chooses in Japanese are like very open to interpretation and very vague, like, so this one, it's basically translating to like the sorceress's omoi, but the kanji that they use is not like the typical like thought or like memory. It's like it has this deeper connotation, and it can mean like feeling emotion, but also like hope, love, longing, desire, sentiment. So like you said, Mike, and like we've all talked about, like the longing, like I think that it was very intentional, like that's in the title itself. Yeah, I think this is a great character theme, and it comes up again and again, I think, in the series, right, as like a lullaby. There's like a lyrical version, and it kind of pops its head up now and again. But
nice. That is wild that one of the interpretations of that would be longing, a word that we all separately arrived at. That's very cool.
Well, should we transition to the next track?
Yeah. Oh, that one's yours too.
Yeah, and actually, like, it's funny that you put them this way, Mike, because it transitions perfectly. So in Cecilia's ending, when she's the princess of Adelheid, the castle, as she leaves Adelheid, she turns and she, like, the wind is blowing by her, her little cute sprite, and she goes like, oh, I can leave this town. Like, a western wind now finally blows through this town, meaning I can leave it for now, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so the next track that I'm bringing roughly translates to a town where the west wind blows. And this is also like the western wind blowing is like a theme that pops up later. Like it'll pop up in one of the lyrical themes that we cover later. But yeah, so this one is from Wild Arms 2, A Town Where the West Wind Blows. It's the theme of Maria.
Awesome. All right. My first track today is Courage, and this is the Wild Arms Alter Code F version of Courage.
Reach for the sky.
Oh,
that was your cue.
Oh my god, I was like so waiting for like Mike to start talking. Like, sorry, Wes, can you give me another reach for the sky?
Reach for the sky.
All right, well, we are back. That was A Town Where the West Wind Blows. So, as I mentioned before, this is the town theme for Ashley, the main character, the protagonist's hometown, Maria. And like I mentioned in the first block there, it's a town that you consistently return to, which is a little bit rare in most JRPGs. Like usually you leave and come back at the very, very end, like the hero's journey kind of style. But this one, you kind of go back for a debriefing, and Ashley, the main character, he has like a sweetheart in town named Marina. So he's always going back and like developing his relationship with her. And so yeah, it does just have a very comforting, homely vibe, you know. I love the instrumentation into it too. Like, even though the track is only like a minute and 20 seconds, there's so much movement within that time. And I love like the synth elements kind of like halfway through the song. They kind of pile on top of the traditional woodwind instruments. Yeah, it just really captures a time and a place that I want to be in and that I enjoy returning to.
I think you captured that really well, just the feel of Maria in general, as far as the town goes. And the song's just, it's great at getting that feeling that you kind of just want to come back there. Like it's a safe place to go to at the end of a journey and stuff. Or even during a journey when you need like just refreshing.
I need a break to smooch my girlfriend.
Yes.
I say that all the time.
I'm always telling these RPG directors, I gotta smooch.
This is another one, you know, I'll go off on instrumentation again, why not? It's my favorite thing. That kind of calm whistle-like melody that goes throughout a lot of town themes, you know, kind of comes in here too. Which I think gives you a sense of place throughout, you know, being a fan of the series, listening over and over. It's like this shorthand that you get to use to know that this is kind of a good, safe place to kind of stop and take your feet off. Take your feet off? That is not the saying. Wow.
So weird. I knew exactly what you meant, though.
Mr. Potato Head wandering the Wild West. Just gotta take my feet off.
It'll go nicely with all the Woody quotes we got going on.
Yeah.
See, it worked.
But it's really interesting because it's got that different feel because of that drum line. That gives it more of like a bouncy feel to the whole thing. Even though there's a lot of similarity in instrumentation, it's giving off very similar vibes. But this one feels a little bit more active, a little bit more like not just is this somewhere you want to return to, but there's a little bit of joy in here as well as that calm and that kind of sense of some kind of home that you can imagine people can find there.
Do we know what that drum is called? It's so hard to research. Like, what is the drum that goes boing boing? But like that, you know, I love the sound that they have in this track for that drum. Do you know what that's called? Anybody?
I'm the world's worst drummer.
Okay.
I'll ask Hillary after this. She'll probably know. Although I'm not sure if it's a real instrument anyway. But she could probably at least identify what it's meant to be. A synthesized version of X.
Right.
Yeah, it's like bongo adjacent.
Bongo adjacent.
It's like a skip and a step.
Yeah, right? It's got that saunter to it, that little hop to it, yeah.
I mentioned like between our blocks here that I didn't actually pair these up intentionally because I had no idea it was going to have that connection to the last song. I did have this one follow up on the first block because it sort of fits musically with the first two. So I at least wanted it near the first block. But I think what I like about this one, because apparently instead of instrumentation, I'm just going to talk about the emotional qualities of these songs today. This is going to be more insightful if I went first, but it has a nice hometown feel. That was my sense of it too. Before I knew that it is a hometown and the rare hometown that you routinely revisit, which I agree. Yeah, you don't see that a whole lot. But it's just welcoming and friendly. with like some really like fun percussion and like a flute, some kind of synthy like flutey flute instrument, wind instrument. It all comes together so nicely and it's very welcoming. So I enjoyed it a lot.
And they do, like, from Wild Arms 2 onward, like, they really lean more into, like, the Wild West aesthetic. Like, Wild Arms 1, it's, like, 80% of Final Fantasy clone. Like, I'm sorry to say, but it's, like, the world is just, like, open and grassy and, like, you know what I mean? Like, the only thing Western about it is, like, oh, like, this is an unpopulated map. Like, it's, like, you use that as an excuse to not put, like, you know, detail into the environment, I feel like. But Wild Arms 2 like really does lean into like the whole Western vibe and like the rocky red mountain kind of like you know, canyons and things like that, and like all the instrumentation. There's like 20 times more whistling on the soundtrack of Wild Arms 2.
Yeah. The whistling continues.
Yeah.
Throughout the rest. Yeah.
I'm glad.
The guy is very much filled with whistling in the background.
Which you all mentioned on like the previous episode that I referred to. The Wild Arms follow-up that is being kickstarted and kind of like lost in limbo a little bit. One of the goals that they had was more whistling on the soundtrack, which they reached.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I keep getting hopeful, but yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Armed and what is it called? Like Armed Fantasia?
Armed Fantasia.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope that comes together. I know they've had issues. But it's so, both those games are like so geared towards like a certain like generation and like, well, all of us, right? Like those games are so beloved. Like if they can actually pull that off, like that would be great. It seems like Armed Fantasia is maybe in a little better shape, but I haven't really been following it either. So
for the listener, the other one that Mike's talking about is like the Shadow Hearts, which is what Penny Blood? Yeah,
Penny Blood. Desperately awaiting.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, we can at least play. Well, actually, can you play Alter Code F anywhere? I don't think you can, really.
I think it's very, very hard to get unless you get the physical copy and have the system.
Yeah. It didn't land on like PlayStation Classics like
no.
1 and 2 did.
All right, listeners, come on down to my place. We'll play some Alter Code F. It'll be great.
It is a good game.
I actually wrote on my notes, oh no, it's Alter Code F. And I don't know where the fandom is on this game now. I feel like for a long time my impression was that a lot of people didn't like it, or at least they didn't like the direction they took for the remake, you know, like whether it was just things like taking the cute little very round character sprites from the original and giving him that like trademark like PS2 like era lankiness. Like everyone got so tall and skinny, like visually very different. I mean, like my mindset for remakes is always that like, you know, once a remake comes out, it doesn't replace the original. Like I didn't buy Alter Code F and then my original CDs like disappeared. Like they're still there. Actually, you can still use them. They both exist. Doesn't actually hurt anything. But that's kind of a rant for another day. But I will say the revised soundtrack for this game is, I think, in some ways maybe as contentious as the game itself. Like some songs were mostly left alone, or maybe they updated them with like cleaner instruments or something like that. The world map, for example, got some like really like intense, like there's this chorus vocals, which I think are very cool. I'm not sure it fits the Wild West theme, but if we think of the first game as more of a Final Fantasy than an actual Western game, then maybe it's fine.
Given that song pulls directly out of an old Clint Eastwood Western, and that leans it even closer to there, I don't know that it fits the vibe of the game so well, but it feels like they were definitely more like, we're going all in on this quote-unquote inspiration.
Okay. Yeah, okay, good point. So, like, I think a lot of songs in Alter Code F that I like are usually the ones that, like, remain more or less true to the original. And then you have this one. Like, I set all this up, and then I'm like, this one is so different than the original. And I love the original. It brings in, like, you know, parts of the main theme. It has this like cool, like triumphant sense of adventure, and just like so exciting and motivating. And then in the remake, it's completely like, it's so slow. Like the remake version slows it down so much, like just so dramatically slow. And it just has like this really intense like weight to it. And there's like these accents with these bells and the drums, which I think are a nice touch, but that like really prolonged, like heavy melody that sets the tone is like, it's so different, but I just love it. The original, like I said, has that cool sense of adventure, and it motivates you because it's like high energy. This one, to me, like I get the same motivation, but it's like instead of like being high energy, you get it to like grit and like resolve.
It's weighty.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking like heavy steps towards something.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Do they use it in the same like context in Alter Code F, like in the same scenes? Would they play this version?
Sure,
like,
I don't know.
It was like an escape. it was often used as like an escape theme in Wild Arms 1. Like
I would imagine.
Get out of there.
I would imagine not then, because like it wouldn't work in that context anymore. So
the world's slowest escape. It's like, let's saunter out of this, like like dungeon crumbling.
You've destroyed Mother Brain. You know how 15 minutes to escape the planet. Yeah.
Let's mosey.
Yeah, mosey. I can't lose my aura while I escape this cave crumbling. Yeah. It was like, to me, this feels very much like a showdown at high noon kind of theme.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll meet you in the middle of the, out in front of the tavern, and like let's have it out with each other. Like, that's what it feels like to me, which is a different kind of courage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in the first game, like the original Courage like song feels, they use it often as like Jack's de facto theme. I feel like Jack does have a theme, but like they almost always play that theme when he's doing something story related, the original Courage. So it might even like have a little bit of impact on Jack as a character, like make him a little less swashbuckling and like picaresque, you know what I mean, and a little more like adult. Maybe that might be one of the things that changes. But the other thing that comes to mind, like speaking of like the epicness and like the grandness of this version, it is a little more operatic. Like I just was listening to a ton of Final Fantasy VI for a review, and this track could very easily plug into Final Fantasy VI, I think. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, or
I mean, I had
that.
Yeah, I could
Maybe,
see
like,
it.
World of Ruin.
yeah, like that kind of like slowly approaching your fate kind of thing. Like, it's scary, but like if that resolved walk towards destiny,
Slowly, I like slowly approaching your fate. That's good.
If Michiko Naruke wants me to make any track titles for Arm Fantasia, you can reach me at RPGFan at Wardell.
It definitely, it's got that kind of more epic weight, but again, instrumentation all the time. It uses the brass and the strings in a way that the soundtrack often does. So while it definitely changes the feel and ditches some of the adventure for weight, that weight still feels distinctly Western. Like, you listen to this and you couldn't mistake it coming from any other series, even though it's drastically different from the origin of what it came from. In some ways, it fits even better as like, okay, this is what I expect out of a big moment in a Wild Arms soundtrack, which I think is kind of what you want as like a standout. I'm gonna listen to this on its own kind of a tune from a series like this. It works really well. A lot of Alter Code F, I think there was some controversy over the differences, over adopting Wild Arms 3 in a lot of respects. And some of that just comes from, changes in localization that kind of felt like a downgrade, especially in the music. Because there are moments throughout this soundtrack where you find, okay, they did something very different, but it's still really powerful and pretty dang unique, even compared to what came before. It's kind of hard to hate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we think that Alter Code F, like, overall is striving for a more, like, mature, like, maybe teenage audience, whereas Wild Arms 1 is very cutesy and, like, innocent?
It seems pretty likely in some ways. Although Calamity Jane having more of a front and center spot might Twist
Oh,
that.
and Zed. And
Oh yeah,
Zed.
And Sid, yeah.
Although I haven't played Alter Code F, but like the translation and like localization of the original Wild Arms, it is like silly in places and like a little bit like mishmash in terms of quality, but like it's charming throughout, and it's like it's genuinely funny and like cute, and yeah, like I got a real good vibe from playing it. Which Wild Arms 2, playing it now, it's like the translation is like much more ambitious, and like the characters are much more verbose and like I don't know, mature what they talk about, but like it gets a little bit mixed up, and like it becomes confused as to what they're even talking about, and like the moments that they do go for comedy, it doesn't quite stick the landing. So I like Wild Arms like a little bit cute and funny and charming. Like Jane is such a great character.
Yeah.
I love Wild Arms too, but that's definitely a translation that has a legacy that
Oh.
might not be the legacy you want it to have.
Yeah.
Look, Matt and I just came off of Breath of Fire 2, so like
Yeah.
it's not.
I
It's
guess I
nothing
shouldn't
like
be
that.
complaining.
No. Do you briefly before we get on to the next one, and maybe I'm dating myself with this, but do you guys remember when they announced this and the other game they announced? I don't know if they announced it at the same time, but it was around the same time. And along with Alter Code F, there was another Code F, and it took me like 15 years to remember that existed. Like a few years ago, I looked it up and like, whatever happened with that? Like I have a logo of it like on my computer. I'm like, oh yeah, what was this? Like, where did that go? And I guess it became either Wild Arms 4 or 5. I forgot which one it was. And I just thought it was like something they announced and showed some concept art for, and just like it never turned into anything. But apparently it became just one of the main series games. And I'm like, oh, I've like wondered for so long, and that's all it was.
You just unlocked a
If
memory.
there was a shovel, then it was Wild Arms 5. Somehow the logo. Or a wall.
A wall. Does the F stand for 4 then?
Well, actually, I mean, it could be 4 or 5. Neither one really narrows down which one it is. But
That is technically another Code F.
that's true. Here,
What-
I'm
what
going
else
to share.
could
I'm
it
going to share
be?
the logo. Just 'cause. Wes, you said I unlocked a memory.
Yeah, as soon as you said another Code F, it was like watching the world blow back in my face. All of a sudden, I saw all the colors inside the wormhole. It was full of stars, and I experienced something I haven't experienced in a long time.
Okay, so clearly you also remembered that.
Yes, but I did not remember that I remembered that.
Let's go on to some birds. So my I don't know. Look.
Great
I don't.
Great transition.
What? Right. It was so smooth. So my second song today is from Wild Arms 3. Another one like it with a very cool, like distinct visual style, like cel shaded with Western. Really cool. I love the look of that game. Anyway, I am bringing Migratory Birds-Scoundrels. I don't know why Birds-Scoundrels is hyphenated, but that's what I see it is. So, yes.
The Birds family and the Scoundrels family got married. You know what? It's nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So one of them is a maiden name. I gotcha.
Exactly. My name is Jameson Birds-Scoundrels.
And
call me Mr. BS.
Oh my god. Good night, everyone. Oh wait, no, we can't leave yet. Audra hasn't got to talk about any of her music yet. Audra, what's your first song?
Oh, mine is When the Heart Ignites, composed by Noriyasu Agematsu from Wild Arms 5.
Yes, thank you for being good and listing composer. In
Well,
all
I
of our,
he kind of needed it because he's like the only one that
It's
the
our
song's the only difference.
our
true.
first and only non-Naruke.
that's true. Yeah, good call. All right, let us go listen to those songs.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh, it's me. All right. Give me another one.
I'm your Huckleberry.
It's so hard to follow that up and keep a straight face. But thank you. So I listened to the entire Wild Arms 3 soundtrack before landing on this one. There's so much good music in there, but I was like, well, I like this one, but I could always like the next one. So I just decided, yep, we're going to just, for half my workday, listen to the whole thing and figure out what I want. So here it is, Migratory Birds-Scoundrels. What I really wanted was I wanted something with that trademark Wild West / Wild Arms whistling. Not that we don't have that in some other tracks today too, but it's really prominent in this track. Yeah, it's accented by these really great plucky strings that give it this great momentum and adventurousness. Yeah, I mean, also a lot of that is how I would describe Audra's song when we get to it, but we're not quite there yet. What did everyone else think of these Migratory Birds?
This is a map theme, correct? It really has that feel of exploring the wild wastes, and in Wild Arms 2 and 3, pressing square to kind of search for landmarks on the map. And yeah, it's got that exploratory theme, and this one especially, I think I mentioned earlier, this has that cowboy lilt and that horse trot kind of percussion to it,
Yes.
that rhythm, which is so motivating for me. It's it makes me want to just get on my horse and ride,
You have a horse?
It makes me want to get a horse and then get on that horse and ride.
Okay. Just clarifying.
A steel horse, I ride.
You gotta call me out on that, Mike, in front of in front of Audra. Come on.
Oh.
Audra specifically.
Everyone else, no big deal.
Yeah. Wes, I can shame myself in front of Wes, but not in front of Audra.
I wish that was the first time I'd heard that.
But yeah, it all the elements that come together, it does have a choir in it, but it does fit. It's got that Western feel to it, and I think thus far this is the first banjo that we've heard as well, the banjo plucking, and there's just so many elements to it. It's very dense and very re-listenable to, you know what I mean? Because I assume that you're going to hear it ad nauseum while exploring the map. The one thing, if we're on the subject of map themes, though, I love when a map theme returns to the point of the song that you were listening to. When they cut back to the beginning of the track, I'm no, not the intro again. Just in exploration themes in general. But yeah, this is an amazing track, and I think everything that I've heard from Wild Arms 3 makes me really excited to play it next.
It is a very good game.
Yeah, it's very top tier in the series. It's not my absolute favorite, but it's up there. And honestly, I love how this song works within the game as well. Because when you enter a town or location in Wild Arms 3 on the map, it kind of zooms you in there. And when you come out, it zooms you out. And that zoom out, along with the orchestral swell and the cymbal roll that comes with it, gives you every time you step out of a town, it feels like this grand world you're stepping out into. And that moment alone, while the rest of it is nice and calm and okay, ride on your horse, kind of do your thing out in the world, that moment right there makes it feel so grand every time you step out of especially out of a dungeon when you've been in the dark so long, and there's almost that sense of the light being too bright as you come out of there and that big swell, and all of a sudden you're back out in the wide open world, and after being stuck in this claustrophobic little space, you're reminded exactly how big the world is out there and how much more there is to see, which is very key Wild Arms feeling to me, and I don't know that any of the games pull it off as well as this one does.
Yeah, I mean that's why I picked it, because of all my experience with that feeling in playing Wild Arms 3. Yeah,
I was just saying what you already had inferred.
I'm just glad you picked up on it.
I can read you like a book at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
See, all this other stuff is a joke, but that part is probably true.
What is your favorite Wild Arms game then? I'm directing towards Wes and to Audra, because you guys have a lot of experience playing the series.
It's a little controversial, but my God, do I love Wild Arms 4. The battle system is so unique. The characters are so charming. You really get to know, in a more intimate 4-person cast. The combat is filled with all of these decisions and trade-offs that nothing else in the series does. Even though it doesn't feel as Western in a lot of ways as the rest of the series, it just feels wholly unique, even within its series, and it feels fantastic to me.
I'd probably say Wild Arms 2, but then I'd also lean towards actually Crossfire, which is probably a little controversial opinion, but I actually really liked it for a strategy spin-off.
It's also pretty unique as a spin-off.
And Wild Arms 4, the battle system is top tier. So, yeah.
Oh.
The Hex battle system, I love it.
It is 3 like the decided fan favorite then, usually?
At least in the West, I'd say that is definitely the one that people have attached to, and I get it. Like I said, even though it's not my absolute favorite, I get it. It's really, really strong entry.
It is a pretty solid one, yeah.
Ooh, looking forward to it.
Wild Arms advanced 3rd if you want to be real weeby about it.
Yes.
I just cannot for the life of me remember any subtitles. I'm just like, Final Fantasy has trained me to be like 1, 2, 3, like anything beyond that, I'm like, what? Like second, yeah. It's akin to like Street Fighter naming conventions. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Third Strike and
3 Third Strike, and like a Second Impact and everything. I'm like, what the why are we doing like sub numbers now? But
Second Impact, of course, being the prequel to Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay, we can't forget the Naked Gun 33 and a third either. I mean, that's another
possibly
classic.
the best. Wild Arms 4 is the 4th detonator, which is just a killer name to give your.
Yeah. That is cool. Yeah.
Well, wait, Matt, does that mean you don't know the Japanese title for Audra's pick here?
I haven't looked at it. No.
Wild Arms 5, Wild Arms, the Veeth
Vanguard.
It's the 5th Vanguard. It's the 5th Vanguard, but they do it with a Roman numeral, so I can't ever read it as anything but Veeth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's the
VTH. Yeah,
it's like the old joke. What do you call a fish with no eyes? It's the Vanguard.
Oh, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, what in the world? The 5th Vanguard.
I mean, still easier to read and wrap your head around than Kingdom Hearts titles, so I'm not going to throw too much shade at him. Anyway,
I think 0.5 is a legitimate number to put on a.
I think
I can't even keep that one.
Tetsuya Nomura just dropped his calculator down the stairs or something, and then just went with that.
0.8, a fragmentary passage, but half of the letters are currency variants on the letters.
Yeah, but then what happened at the bottom of the stairs is Yoko Taro picked it up and said, I'm going to remake the first Nier, and these are the numbers I'm going to use.
No one will ever be able to search this properly.
Yes.
I'm partial to Driver 3, Drive 3er.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
They put the 3 in the E, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Audra, we keep denying you to talk about
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, sorry, Audra.
Which is a shame because legitimately fantastic track.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Actually, Wild Arms 5, talking about favorite Wild Arms games, is not my favorite. I don't know how popular it actually is. I care much for the story in a lot of ways and stuff in it, but I did like some of the cameos and nostalgia bait. And I do actually like that they use the Hex battle system. But one of the things I did actually really appreciate about it was it has a really good soundtrack that I think gets overlooked because it isn't really Michiko Naruke. But some of the tracks are just really stand out. Despite that, I think they did a really good job capturing the Wild Arms feel in terms of a lot of the tracks. And I think When the Heart Ignites is probably one of the best battle themes in the series.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it really... I was just randomly listening through the soundtrack just to see if I could pick up a song from it. And the second I heard this one, I was like, oh, this kind of distills Wild Arms in some ways. So I was like, I'm going with this one. And I just kind of went with it. I mean, the whistling, the instrumentation, it's definitely a really kick butt battle theme. It's actually the standard random encounter battle theme, so it's not even like a boss battle one, but it's...
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, I could see playing this on repeat.
I wouldn't mind hearing that 1,000 times. Yeah, like that is a great song.
It's like Final Fantasy 15, a game whose like every single regular battle theme is incredible. So I love that. I like when they are willing to go that hard in just a regular battle theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, like such a great like driving feel of this song.
Yeah.
You know, I had to pair it with mine, of course, because of the very prominent whistling, but obviously the feeling is very different here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mine is the like nighttime saloon vibe, and this is like the electric band version. Just so lively, energetic, so cool.
And there is a shovel version because Dean uses a shovel in some of the game in the battle. So I was like, but I did not want to do that one because I think I'd probably just joke about the shovel.
I'll have to look that one up now.
The really quick whistling in it just fits the vibe so well because, you know, we've talked about it before. Like, just whistling is so integral to the Wild Arms DNA, and having it in your battle music makes it feel all the more like, yes, this is kind of an anniversary celebration entry, which it absolutely is. It's interesting to me though how the brain makes memories because. One of the things I loved about Wild Arms 4's version of the Hex battle system was you had 4 party members and 4 slots in your party. You always had the same people in there, which also, due to how the battlefield is set up, means you always have at least 2 members sharing a spot when you start the battle, which means there's high risk, high reward, because anything that happens in that one hex affects everyone in that hex. Yeah. Wild Arms 5, you have a lot more than 3 party members, but only 3 in at a time, so everyone's kind of sitting individually, and you can swap people out during battle. So when I think about this really fast-paced, exciting battle theme, I think of some of like the cool attack animations that they bring in, but mostly I think about switching out party members. Like, I hear this song, and my first thought is, there goes Dean running off screen, and here comes I forget the name of the guy with the pile bunker, but I just think of that swapping animation first and foremost. It's such a good theme. It's such a good tune, though. Genuinely, I think Audra was right. One of the best battle themes in a series that has some pretty killer battle themes.
This might be my lock of the week, Audra. This blew me away. I'm like, this is a battle theme that you hear again and again. Like, this was incredible. And are the battles usually like the Hex system battles? Are they usually longer than like a traditional turn-based battle? Just because the song itself is like 5 minutes long, which is pretty long for a battle theme. Like, are you often hearing the full thing?
They can be a bit longer because it's almost like a kind of like the strategy RPG grid in a way. Like, you're positioning characters on grids and having them, so they can be a bit longer.
That really makes me want to play
they're a little longer, but not like obtrusively long as they could be. Which is a nice little balance, and you know, it lets you in some battles hear a little bit more of it. Since this song evolves over the course of its runtime, it's really nice to be able to, like, some battles it feels a little different than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the art of the battle theme of like timing, like, okay, the typical battle is going to last a minute or like 90 seconds, and like they should get to this point. Like, I feel like the Persona series does that really well, of like, by the time the vocals kick in, you'll be watching the victory screen, you know what I mean? But I feel like that would be really hard for like a more strategic kind of battle system. Like, there's a lot more player choice involved and, like, you know, stopping and thinking. So it's funny because, like, for such a thoughtful gameplay style, it's like very like your heart is ignited, it's like go go go, you know, like but this makes me really want to play this game even more. If only I could just track down like a copy of it. But
it's really smart, you know, to your point about, you know, you never know how long a battle's gonna last. It's really smart with how it utilizes its long runtime, so that it does have that big drive at the beginning, but you listen to the instrumentation, you listen to the through line of this song as it progresses over time, it feels more and more like the longer a battle is, the probably the tougher time you're having with it, the more dire it feels. So you get like some of that synth organ that comes in that makes things feel a little bit, you know, more dire as you get deeper in. Things get a little bit more, you know, instead of so like driving quick pace, it's like almost desperate quick paced.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really smart way to use a longer runtime to kind of fit with how the battle is likely going if you've made it in that long.
Yeah.
I checked on VGMDB just to confirm, but the whistling tone is really similar to the intro of Wild Arms 1, but different whistler. But like that very high pitched, like wind whipping through, you know, like that whistle tone. Like I love that. That is so Wild Arms to me now.
Yeah. I'm glad we had such good wide representation of the series here today. And now, are we ready for our last block?
I am.
Yeah.
All right. What is your next song, Audra?
Oh, my next song is As Time Goes By, We Won't Forget. And it's the English version, composed by Michiko Naruke, with vocals by Franki Love.
All right. And Wes.
And since we have the lovely English version with Franki Love's vocals, I'm bringing the Wild Arms 4 with Because You Are Here Looking Up at the Sky, the opening theme from Wild Arms 4, also composed by Michiko Naruke, but this time with the Japanese vocals by Kaori, both phenomenal vocalists.
Yes, she is a treasure. I have the Wild Arms vocal collections, both of them, and I just... I love all of her songs.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go into our last block now, Wild Arms 4 music, and we will be back.
I think about how time has come and gone with the wind, just waiting for the time we'll be together. So many times I've wanted so to call out your name. I hear your voice, makes me want to run to you.
Mongo only pawn in Game of Life.
Beautiful.
Well, I really enjoyed Wild Arms 4, especially like the battle system and gameplay wise. It's just a great RPG. I think probably one of the strongest elements of it though was actually for me the ending, because it's like surprisingly bittersweet but also very hopeful and touching all at once. And it kind of makes up for some of the things I was like, okay, so they're just talking about how adults can't be trusted. It was a big lead in of a lot of the plot, but then like it's about growing up, and it really captures that sense of growing up and time moving forward and stuff. And I really like the English version. This is probably my favorite English version of a Wild Arms song. I think she does a great job, Franki Love, vocalizing the lyrics and just conveying the emotion throughout them.
I think this fits her vocal range so well too. The intro, like there are a couple of lines that like it feels like she's straining even though she managed to hit it. This one is like right
she
in her.
Did great in this version, yeah.
I mean, this one sounds, in my opinion, like every bit as good as the original. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's just I don't really want to spoil too much of the storyline itself, but it just it's a beautifully captured sentiment about just moving on and growing up.
And it plays so well, you know, that ending. I'm a sucker for an ending where it's like, here's what happened to the people you've grown to love over the past however many tens of hours.
Oh yes.
And this hits so emotionally. This song plus seeing, you know, how it all kind of played out,
especially with with a certain character.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
Anyone who's completed Wild Arms 4 probably knows.
That style of closing credits, I also agree with you. Like I love that kind of thing. I don't know why. I think it's so interesting. This might sound weird to say for someone who didn't play this game, but there's something I feel like very nostalgic about this one to me. Despite that, there's something, I don't know if it's the instrumentation, it's the vocals. There's something about it that just feels like, I don't know, I associate it with like games and anime of like this time period. And it's like fun and jazzy. And again, like because we looked at the video for this while we were prepping for the episode of the outro credits, the credits. That's the word. The closing credits. Thank you. And yeah, I really like that kind of ending where you see what each character went off to do after the credits rolled. You know, I don't feel like we get that too much in games. And of course, you know, now it would be a paid DLC. So having this like excellent, like upbeat song gives it a really like nice, happy ending sound. You know, that our friends are going to be okay. But yeah, I very much enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I had the same feeling as Mike, like the almost bittersweet nostalgia, like you were talking about, you guys, about the growing up, you know what I mean? It's like it's an inevitable thing in everyone's life, but yeah, it does have a very much like, to me, 90s anime feeling. Like it would fit right at home with like the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack with like the other seatbelts music, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
The little bit of brass coming in gives big 90s anime vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, the horns there. Yeah, exactly. And I just got to throw out because like Franki Love, like what an incredible stage name, I assume. Like that is like sounds like the world's best like Sopranos character or something like that, or you know. But yeah, like when I heard it too, like when we were picking our tracks, I'm like, this is like a classic Audra pick. Like Audra, I when I think of you on Rhythm Encounter, I think of like the vocal, you know, endings and intros and things like that, right? If you ever come by the way of Japan, Audra, like hit me up and we'll go to karaoke. We can sing this song at karaoke. That sounds like a really fun track. So this gives me a 90s feeling, whereas Wes's pick gives me like slightly future forward, like 2000s vibes, like a 2000s intro very specifically, but not to jump ahead, but these both paired really nicely. Yeah.
I guess we could jump into there.
We could, yeah.
The layup.
Let's just slam a jam that one. I've talked before about how much I adore Wild Arms 4, and this feels so very different from other Wild Arms intros, because while there is a little bit of that sense of like adventure, that like forward thinking exploration kind of vibe that comes with Wild Arms, it is definitely more like, this was a 2000s PS2 RPG, and it feels kind of like a 2000s anime intro, which just so happens to be a very sweet spot for me in nostalgia. So it hits really well. There's a little bit of like the brass and the strings that feel very Western throughout, but the whole thing feels like it was meant to be evocative of this almost more sci-fi angle that they took Wild Arms 4 into.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also, I think, why I love the Japanese version so much, is because it matches those vibes so well. The notes that are being hit here fit a little bit more into like the language's standard vocal range, I think. Franki Love knocks it out of the park in the English version, but it's something about, dubbed anime openings specifically, not even just the closings, just the openings. It gives a little bit of a different vibe. And I absolutely love the original, Japanese vibe here. The vocals are so good and so, of the time in a way that makes me incredibly happy. The animation is a lot more Saturday morning anime than pretty much every other Wild Arms game, but I don't think that works to its detriment, because they are going for this feeling that is very different from what Wild Arms has been before. And I think that's why it's a controversial pick, where some people really don't like it, but I think people who are willing to kind of meet it halfway with where it wanted to be, goodness gracious, does this hit what it's going for so well in all of its heartfelt moments and all of its incredibly goofy moments, which there are plenty of. I always think of flying using pistols whenever I think of Wild Arms 4. It's an absolute blast, and I never skipped this intro because it really feels like it leads into the kind of game you're going to get into so well.
Oh no, this is one of those intros I never skipped either. Just, it was great, both versions of it. Because like they did the second version too, and I really like that one.
I read online that this track, I think the English version maybe, or whatever, this is like the 2-minute truncation of it, but the full 5-minute version, maybe a spoiler alert, I'm sorry, like plays during the final battle. And I thought like, wow, that would be such a great like pump up moment. Like that sounds amazing in game.
Who doesn't love the climactic moment being set to the intro of like anything very anime inspired?
Yeah, right? Oh my god. Yeah, although I see what you mean. Like I can kind of understand like the controversy that you're talking about, where it is more leaning towards like the time and place that this song was made in, like, like 2000s Japan, as opposed to like a Western vibe. Like you could feel like, even like lyrically, it feels like it could be applied to like almost any anime of that era. But I like what you said about like the Saturday morning cartoon vibe. Like that is very much, I think in that way it has like a very long-lasting presence in like the hearts of many fans, I'm assuming. But I thought it was a really charming, catchy intro and like great vocals and a ton of fun. I like this track a lot.
Remember when I was talking like long ago about the vocals in Audra's track taking me back to a certain time period? Anyway, I mean, you guys had this too, but like similar vibe here. But really great one to close out on today. Like I love the energy in this song that it brings to the table, and maybe I should have ended with the ending theme, but whatever. We had two great vocal tracks today, so like I'm happy that they went well together and that they're both from Wild Arms 4. So thank you. Thank you both of you for bringing Wild Arms 4, but thank all of you for being here and talking about so much great music today. I had a lot of fun.
I had a blast.
A lovelier group of people to talk to I could not ask for.
Yes.
Aww.
I'm glad I could roll with this posse.
Sadly, the hat tip I just did does not play well in a podcast format.
Well, whatever. We still
can you
laughed.
edit in like a felt sound effect? Anybody?
A felt sound effect.
We're putting you to work, Mike.
Tapping felt.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go find some felt. Actually, my desk mat. My desk mat is, well, it's not really felt, but
Just
We'll see.
Google tapping felt and see what happens.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll Google tapping felt when you
I'm
Google.
sure this is gonna go just fine.
Yeah, when you Google, you're my favorite deputy. The one that we haven't heard today.
It was in consideration.
Okay, so before we get to our not so secret track, although you haven't shared it with any of us, so like it really is a
not.
surprise
No,
for
I'm
all of
curious.
us, and I can't
Oh, I've
wait.
got something queued
Yeah.
up for you all lovely people.
All right, well, let's get through this stuff so we can get to that. On this episode, only one game was a debut on Rhythm Encounter, and somehow that was Wild Arms 4. So I'm glad we had 2 songs from 4 because it had never been on the show before. So yeah, thank you both for helping us fill out. I think, yeah, all the main Wild Arms games, we're not counting Million Memories, but now they've all been on the show in some capacity. Coming up next on Rhythm Encounter, we are doing, it's been a while, another episode on Final Fantasy XIV. I think it's been several years, which is shocking to me. So we're due for another one. There's been a lot of music released since then, so look forward to that in a couple weeks. And after that, your guess is as good as mine. We're actually determining the upcoming schedule. So right now, we're recording this enough in advance. All I can tell you is that next is Final Fantasy XIV. But whatever's after that is going to be good too, with some great people. So, whatever it is, tune in. If you have thoughts on this, if you want to talk to us about Wild Arms or any other future topic ideas, you can reach the show and me at music@rpgfan.com. How about the rest of you? How can people reach you? I know what you're going to say, Matt, but I'm still going to ask. How can people reach you?
What am I going to say?
You're going to say, I can't be reached or something, which is fine. You're going to be like, read my stuff on rpgfan.com.
Okay, listener, you can reach for the stars. You can, read my writing on RPG Fan, especially a lot of album, like music reviews, things of that nature. And then if you want to read my solo fiction writing, it's at mattwardellwrites.wordpress.com if you like science fiction. Thank you.
I do like science fiction.
I do. Also, you also published a very, very cool Tokyo tourism article recently on RPG Fan. So this seems like a good time to suggest people look at that too.
Highly
Yeah,
recommend.
Yeah, it was very awesome.
Thank you, everybody. I'm really proud of that article. It was a lot of fun to make too, and it came out pretty close to my interview with Secret of Mana composer Hiroki Kikuta as well, who worked on the Shadow Heart series loosely with Kodelka. But check that out
So
as well.
close to my heart.
Yeah.
My Shadow Heart.
I feel it's appropriate to have that Tokyo tourism article as we wrap this up, talking about the most anime Wild Arms game, which
Yeah.
is a contentious title.
If you want to keep this vibe going, please read my article.
Yeah. How about you, Wes?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Lone Weasel. That's pretty much it. I mean, I guess you can also find me on RPG Fan sometimes,
Yes.
if you so choose. But
How about you,
you can
Audra?
also hear me over the last hour.
You can. Sorry.
I'm being dumb. It's my
No,
thing.
you're not. You're fine.
It's
You're
my
fine.
brand.
Well, you can send me a holler over email at audrab@rpgfan.com.
All right. And if you enjoyed Rhythm Encounter, we are, of course, not the only podcast on the RPG Fan Podcast Network. We have our other podcasts, Random Encounter and Retro Encounter. Random Encounter posts every other Monday, opposite of us. Like I said, we're recording in advance. I don't know what Random Encounter's most recent episode was, but it's probably about something recent. Maybe it'll be about the recent release of Off, which Alex reviewed for us, or something else. But go check it out, whatever it is. Over on Retro Encounter, our episode is coming out right between Game Journal episodes of Drakengard, a Yoko Taro game that Zach has not played, and I'm really hoping he likes it. I know he's been wanting to play it for a long time and was waiting for this episode, so we'll see how that goes. But if you
I'm
want to hear,
curious what the mix of genius to regret is going to be.
yeah,
when it comes to Drakengard.
I liked it back in the day.
I
so
love Drakengard, but I also love Dynasty Warriors games. So What are you gonna do?
Yeah, oh yeah, there is a crossover there. So we'll see. Hopefully he enjoys it, but the only way to find out is listen to Retro Encounter. You can also find RPG Fan on social media and Twitch and YouTube. We have a Discord. We have links for this stuff in our show notes. Go check it out. Our website, of course, is rpgfan.com. And on there, you can find our shop, rpgfan.com/shop, where you can find RPG Fan merch. You can find our review card collection. If you're listening to this and then try to order that book semi-recently, you might have found some broken links. We have fixed that with Hyperplay, so you can order that book again if you're in the US. So please go check that out. That link is no longer broken. On our merch shop, actually, as of the last couple weeks, we now have shorts. It was a new offering from our TeePublic storefront, so we figured, why not? Let's see who wants RPG Fan shorts. But you can get those now. Just go to rpgfan.com/shop. Finally, if you enjoyed this, we would appreciate any kind of support, reviews, subscriptions, wherever it is that you get your podcasts. That just helps us reach more people. I almost said reach more people's ears, but I know it's accurate, but it just doesn't sound right. So yes, now to actually close out, we have something from Wes. Wes, what is our super secret bonus track today?
So I think that intros are key to the Wild Arms series. And we've talked about, only one of them tonight. That doesn't feel right. So I decided to bring the best intro in the series, of course. Any guesses as to which one that is? Pulls from the audience?
Oh,
I know that we've had the Wild Arms 1 intro.
Is it the Wild Arms anime?
You dirty, rotten scoundrel. Because yes, we have talked about every Wild Arms entry, except for the most important one. Wild Arms Twilight Venom. Wow. Take those two letters, smack them together. Wild Arms TV. That's right. The intro to the Wild Arms anime. That is our bonus track. I make no apologies. See you, Space Cowboy.
Wes, I can shame myself in front of Wes, but not in front of Audra.
I wish that was the first time I'd heard that.